Hey everyone, welcome back to Strange Mind 6. I'm your host, Ruby, and today we're going to be getting back into Octunnumi. Now, if you would please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it. And we're going to get into Trevor Allen Forrest's The Octunnumi. So grab your snacks, grab your drinks, sit back and relax. His face when you told him it was only gas. Reg shakes his head, smiling, as the pair emerge from the alleyway into the deserted street. Mr. Regis, get the comic. I know, right? Trad nods as they continue on, walking past the night-lit shop windows. Mr. Regis, it is gas, isn't it? Reg looks across to his brother. All I know, Trad shrugs. Absorbed again in his comic is the antacid tablets in Mikey's shirt pocket gave me the heads up on the stomach problems. I just played on that. If he gets to the end. And the baby? Reg asks. Are they even trying for one? Well, they will be tonight. Trad chuckles. He will not be happy. Wouldn't it have been quicker if you just read him, Mikey? And where's the fun in that? Trad replies. Anyway, not permitted in Fethris. Reg nods, trying to think of what to say next. That's it. That's all you've got. So, was any of it going to happen? Reg asks, scowling upwards. The fight? Maybe. Look, you know how it works, Trad replies, lowering the comic. Good. Now just slowly take... I just verbalize a possible outcome. They do the rest, he continues as he resumes reading. I just like to see how far it can go before people stop believing what I say. And you are so good at it, Reg smiles, lying. You may also have forgotten how good he is at giving you a dead arm. We all have our talents, Trad replies, not missing the dig, talking of which. He glances at the briefcase in Regis' hand. What's so special about that? Which is the least amount of pain he is going to inflict on you if he reaches the end. Don't know. I haven't seen security like this before, and there's no history. Nothing. That's odd. Odd that a lowlife like Mikey has his hands on something this well protected. Definitely, Reg states. I'll give it to Gus when we get back. See what he can find out. All I'm bothered about is that another rogue access point is closed. Trad shrugs. If the briefcase gives anything, it'll be a bonus. 12 pages to go. Do you think Mikey even knows he's been to another innocent? Forgive me for mispronouncing the word. Reg queries. Does he hell as like? Tread laughs. All he saw was a room with the briefcase on the table. He has no idea who or what he's dealing with. And, as he said, the tough guys were waiting for him in the club, so they don't know anything. Unfortunately, Reg adds, that means we don't either. 10. We managed to get a look on the access point, Trad comments, so job done. They fall into a steady walk as they navigate the piles of rubbish heaped at intervals on the street, waiting for the early collection. And 8, says the narrator. So why did you let him go, Mikey? He's harmless, Trad grins. Let's face it, he's got other things on his mind right now. I don't think he will be bothering us for a while. He smiles. Heh, look at this. Trad points to an illustration. Is that supposed to be do something? She'll find out, you know, Reg blurts as he storms past Trad, grabbing the comic on his way. Mom, she'll know we've been to see Ectrovia. Even if we don't remember, she'll know. He marches on and she'll know we are here. Reg. Trad stops, slightly stunned at the outburst, and calling out to him, says, relax. We didn't come through a known point. We haven't been here long enough to alert anyone. And Trad gestures the empty streets they are in. Look around you. How's she gonna know? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Red shouts back, hello, boys. Surprise. Unbelievable, Trad mutters, offering a small wave to Margarine. I'll be with you in a mo. Unaccustomed to dealing with illnesses and injury, within the Octunnumi headquarters, Nathaniel Fosbit was recovering from his ordeal in one of the master suites set aside for visiting dignitaries, and invoiced Mr. Ward. Mr. Ward, who had insisted that Nathaniel be placed here, vehemently denied that it had anything to do with the high esteem in which he held Edgar Fosbit, merely that this was the more suitable room for his needs, considering its lavish decor, sumptuous styling, and total wow factor. Reg and Trad wondered, as they took it all in, what less suitable looked like. Watching the unconscious Nathaniel lying on the oversized four-poster that dominates the large room, the boys wait awkwardly, bored. Trad starts fiddling with a gadget on his left sleeve. Shooting him a side glance, Reg taps his hand away. Stop it, he whispers. Tutting in response, Trad stuffs his hand in his pockets while muttering, why have we got all this matter work anyways? Tradition, Reg replies. Well, tradition is getting in my way. I mean, it's not as if we need it. After a short pause, he adds, and as for the rest, yes, you have said. I have a lot of explaining to do later. Yes, you do, Reg. Yes, you do. As I said, later. I mean, the graphic novels? Yes, I know. I was going to say, how did Mom know we were here? But yes, the graphic novels. I've got it, Trad. Just not now. Interrupted by the sound of intermittent singing drifting into the room, the boys fall silent again. So, Trad asks, a while later, excuse me, where is our illustrious leader? I take it you are referring to our mother? Yes, the great one. She who must be obeyed. He trails off, as the very leggy, curvaceous, beautiful, delightful, engaging, wonderful. Okay, Trevor, Reach mutters under his breath. Oh, yes, my apologies, Mr. Regis. Fionithzip Elgivian Dunstus enters the room. We're gonna call them Fed, because I do not know how to pronounce the full names. A status quo beauty at 5 feet 10 inches in bare feet, having regimed an undisclosed number of times. Fionith, or Fed, had decided that 26 was her favorite age. Oh my. Whoa, Trad mumbles, his breath gaping, his eyes glued to her every move. Transfixed by the image that is Fed, a moment passes. Ahem. Yes, right. Fed, hi. We heard they'd, called you? Reg stumbles while reaching over to Trad's chin and pushing his brother's mouth closed. Smooth, really smooth. She smiles. So, Reg stammers, clearing his throat. How long has, Nate, been out? He asks Fed. Busies herself around the bed, tidying the covers. 2 hours or so, she replies. He was barely conscious when they brought him in. A practicing doctor in Fethris several times over. Fionith buzzes herself around the bed, tidying the covers. 2 hours or so, she replies. He was barely conscious when they brought him in. A practicing doctor in Fethris several times over. Fionith, or Fed, had more recently decided on a change of career. She was, however, the best the Octunnumi had at a short notice. Such a long time since I've had to bring someone back from the brink of death, she beams. It has quite made my day. Tottering around the room on heels that threatened to break, if not the heels themselves, then her ankles, she bends to tuck in a loose bed sheet. Trad starts to say something, but no words form as he takes in her outfit. He's not sure if she is wearing a short skirt or a wide belt, but he is quite sure that her top was meant for a child, one with a flat chest, a chest that did not bounce with each step. Fionith is now a top fashion model. Jiggling her way around the four-poster, she grabs Nate's left wrist and gropes for his pulse. We have him sedated until we can clear his system of toxins. Satisfied, she unceremoniously drops Nate's arm back onto the bed, bouncing and jarring the limb, leaving it outstretched over the edge. Trad winces. Great healer, though she may be. Her bedside manners was the reason for the change of career. That and the fact that no one could concentrate around her. So he's been poisoned? Reg asks, rubbing his brow in an attempt to stay focused. It's the only explanation, she replies, pulling her flame-red hair stark against her ebony skin to one side as she bends to rummage in a large handbag on the floor. After a prolonged silence, she looks up directly at Reg and Trad, who appear to be fascinated by her top, or rather the lack of it. Really, you are doing this? She demands, standing up, hands on hips. You surprise me, Reg. Trad, not so much, she sighs. Look, I was called from a shoot. She gestures her outfit. Emergency, they said. We don't all get to run around in our uniforms, you know. She pauses. I'm sorry if it is bothering you, but I am supposed to be going back. Bother us? No. Reg stumbles. Didn't even notice. Yeah, right, Trad mutters. Would you like me to change? She bends one knee slightly and pouts her lips. Yes, definitely. No! Let's see. Now, what do you prefer? She touches the neck of her top, which morphs into a plunging fitted white doctor's coat, barely reaching the top of her red thigh-high boots. Hair pulled back, strands falling round her face. She licks her red lips and smiles. Oh, God. Reg breathes, turns slightly, and starts admiring a lamp. Now, which one of you naughty boys wanted this look, huh? She inquires. Oh, that would be me, says the narrator. Reg shoots a disapproving glance upward. Trad mumbles incoherently. Fioneth, Margarine calls as she enters. Stop teasing my boys. Fioneth offers a broad grin in reply, her outfit unifying with Margarine's, and the boys as she does so, though Trad notes that Fioneth's one-piece trouser suit was probably sprayed on. And not that he was complaining, but he was quite sure the plunging neckline was not the definition of decorum as required by the Alliance team dress code. Not that there was a strict dress code exactly, each member having free rein over their finished uniform. It had, however, been agreed that certain guidelines would be followed. The styling was to remain that of a Tyrillian, one that had been adopted wholeheartedly by the Fethris when they had arrived and would now be described as Victorian. The added embellishments, now largely for ornamental purposes, being another opportunity to display their mechanical abilities. An agreed amount of tailoring was to be expected, and a certain amount of decorum and respect implemented, and after much discussion and debate, It had been agreed that the Octunnumi Alliance recognized regalia could be any color so long as it was black. So, it's a poison. Margarine picks up the conversation. Can we assume that it was to stop regeneration? If the intention was to stop Nate being able to renew his body before brain death, then yes. Or it could just be someone wanting to harm Nate, unaware of his abilities. Either way, she continues, if he had been any later getting here, he would most certainly be dead. Pausing before adding, permanently. So, this has been forced on him? Trad questions. I wouldn't say so, no. She shakes her head. There's no indication of force, but it was mostly definitely taken orally. Is he going to be okay? Reg interrupts. It appears to work on the conscious thought process first, Fioneth explains as she taps Nate's shoulder, whereby a holographic 3D image of his body hovers above him, the graphic colors making it a little too lifelike for Trad's liking. While, Fioneth states, still allowing the subconscious process breathing, organ function, etc., she pauses, pointing to lungs and heart, which both darken, until eventually shutting down the whole body. She sweeps her hand across the remaining image, rendering it all dark. It is really fascinating, she chirps, looking at each organ with joy. How each part just shuts down, boing, boing, boing. She stands, smiling at the others. Not forgetting the fact that someone tried to kill him, Reg points out flatly. Oh, yes, of course, sorry, she stammers. Just got caught up in the science of it, sorry. She dismisses the image. He is your friend, of course, and yes, he will be fine. And are we sure it's him? Trad asks, observing Nate from the base of the bed, the professor's son. Why wouldn't it be? Fioneth asks. Because if it isn't, he replies tersely, then it's a major security breach, and we've just let God knows who in, and until he is conscious, I won't know. Why so skeptical? Margarine asks, approaching the end of the bed. Oh, I don't know. I mean, he must be on his, what, 3rd, 4th RG body by now? 19th, actually, Margarine replies, throwing images up. 19th? What the hell has he been up to? It would seem, she replies, indicating the scenes of rock climbing, abseiling, and the like, that he is rather fond of extreme sports. Not very good at them, but still, hence the need for the frequent RGs. She pauses. And yes, we have run all of our checks, and it's him. Okay, so Nate. He left, chose to live outside of the Octunnumi, hasn't had anything to do with any of us since. Considering what happened, Trad, are you surprised? Reg cuts in. He wasn't the only one to leave. And then, with his father exiling him. And you know how it works, Trad. Fioneth adds, if you choose to leave the Octunnumi, sever ties, that part of your life is a distant memory, dreamlike. And that's my point. He chose to get out, chose a whole new life. He pauses. So why is he back now? How is he back now? And why should we be helping him? Because Because? Trad asks. Because why, Reg? Because we owe it to him, Trad. We all went through hell that day, Reg says. And as I said, Nate wasn't the only one of the group to step down. It was the only way to... I know what happened, Reg, and why. Trad replies flatly. But by the looks of things, he gestures the images, Nate didn't take the protection option, did he? Not judging by all this. He sweeps his hand over the images, hardly low-key. He even kept his family name, not exactly deep cover. He didn't want to disappear like the others, Margarine cuts in. Clearing the images, he wanted Melissa to be able to find him, so insisted on keeping the name. All right, let's say that we accept, Trad says. So why now? Why was Natey Boy chosen to turn up now? At, I might add, a location that is only known to members, which he no longer is, with who knows who. He taps the air and an image of the collapsed Nate Harold and the young woman pops up. How did she get to know our location, Trad asks, let alone that Nate was and has any connection? She had this. Margarine holds up in Icos Reliance. What? Trad snaps. Where did she get one of those? From me, Reg states. Well, I returned it to Nate. And why would you do that? Trad inquires. More to the point, when did you do that? Because of what happened, Reg sighs. I wanted him to know how to find us if he needed to. Reg looks at Trad, who is clearly expecting more information. Reluctantly, Reg continues. Okay, I've been keeping my eye on him. Nothing intrusive from a distance. He looks to the others, desperately trying to explain himself. He has... Excuse me. He hasn't known. I haven't actually spoken to him since he left. Oh my God, Trad exclaims, circling to face his brother. Why? Why would you do that? He's our friend, Reg states. Was. I know I should have told you. Reg glances at Fionith and his mother. But this is not just anybody. So you broke protocol and made contact with an exile. Trad fires at him. On top of which you gave him an ex-reliance. That's like a free pass to everywhere. Now you're exaggerating. It got him here, didn't it? Without that, he points to the image again, would have no clue of our location, and who knows what else. Agitation in his voice, Trad moves towards his brother. And this is all thanks to you, Reg. Well done, genius. It's not like you've never contacted an exile. They are now face to face. That's different. Trad snaps, jabbing his finger at Reg. Really? How? I never gave them a key to the door, he flashes, looking at the Exos Reliance. All doors. It's not. And who does it link to, huh? Trad cuts in. Oh, that's right, us, our group, our Ecos Reliancium. Not to mention all the others. Well, so you've put us all at risk, he says, leaning closer to Reg's face, and don't try to tell me otherwise. Okay, boys, placing a hand on each of their chests, Margarine steps between her sons. Looking back toward Fioneth, she adds, "Thank you, Fioneth. Please keep me informed of Nathaniel's condition." And that is where we're going to leave off today. Leave a comment as to what do you think Trad is going to do to Reg later on, and what was so secretive in that comic that the narrator didn't want Trad to see. Comment below, and definitely if you liked this video, hit that like button, and if you're not already, please subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And until then, my friends, this is Ruby, signing off.